Hey, what's going on, everybody? I got my usual crew with me, Darnell and Tyler. I'm Trey, and we're coming your way with the 6th edition of the Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. Had a big game last week, the Super Bowl. Tyler, what were your thoughts on the game, man?
Well, for starters, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people saw a really good football game despite the outcome or what the score may have told us. We saw some really good defense from both teams. We saw, hard-nosed tackling. If you were into defense, this was your kind of game. I think offensively from the Broncos, we expected what we saw. We saw them just move the ball on a lot of short plays and just get small chunks of yards at a time and move it down the field and come away with points. I mean, McManus had 3 field goals in the game, and he was a big factor for them going forward and throughout the entire game. But ultimately, it was that Broncos defense that was huge. Cam Newton wasn't able to do anything. They couldn't get a run game together. Carolina just struggled in all facets offensively. And Von Miller winning MVP, he deserved it. Forced 2 fumbles. Believe he had 2.5 sacks. So, I mean, he deserved it. That defense deserved it. And it was a great way for Peyton Manning to go out.
Yeah. Again, I got to give a shout out to my man Luther Ellis, working with the team, my former coach. I remember those days in practice. He used to pull me out to the side. Hey, Big T, come here, man. I got this move I want to show you so you can use it up on the defense, dude. So it's really pulling for him to win that championship. It's good to see with everything he's been through in the past, see him finally go out there and help Denver win the championship. So, like I said, I had the Panthers winning it all too, but that defensive line especially showed up for the Denver Broncos. They did their thing on Cam Newton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like they were just causing him trouble. I was pretty shocked they were able to just stop him as well as they have, because Cam Newton and that offense, they've been just pushing it as soon as the game started. So that was, as soon as I saw they weren't able to just struggle like that, I was like, wow, these guys really got a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not know. I did not believe in Peyton Manning, considering how he's been playing overall, especially during the regular season, to go out there and just help that much. But that defense alone was just causing up trouble for that Carolina offense. So
yeah, absolutely,
got to give him props. Von Miller, he definitely strutted his stuff against the Panthers. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, one key stat that stood out to me was Cam Newton went 18 for 41 for 265 yards. Like 265 yards doesn't seem too bad, but when you're 18 for 41, it looks horrible.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, you had Peyton Manning go 13 of 23 for 141 in a pick. Yeah. So, I mean, neither quarterback left that game looking great, to be honest. But, Denver knew that Peyton Manning was going to be limited even going into the game.
True.
He wasn't doing much leading into the game. So I really think that was a key for Denver, knowing that Peyton Manning and the pass game is not their strong point, and they basically stayed away from it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it, Darnell?
I mean, just like both of y'all, I was surprised with the outcome. I guess I gotta say the game went how I thought, just the opposite way. First half, teams were pretty close, just nobody could really put in a kill shot on the other, even though basically Denver scored enough in the first half to win the game. Coming out of it in the first half, 13-7, I thought it was pretty much primed and ready for Carolina to take over in the second half after they would make some adjustments, but it just doesn't seem like those were made, and Denver was just in Cam's grill the whole game. I mean, he like Tyler said, they had him throwing a lot, but I mean, he was overthrowing receivers, missing his hot reads, and and they tried to stay with the run game, but it just wasn't working outside of broken plays and I think one called QB run that worked out well. But I mean, outside of that, Denver pretty much had Carolina well scouted. And what I've been harping on Carolina about, what I didn't trust for most of the playoffs and regular end of the regular season, finally came to fruition. Just those receivers, they didn't have anybody that was just gonna break out and get open when he needed it. And I think that came to show that. I mean, like I said, some of it was Cam's fault. He definitely missed some throws, but there's not that key receiver to come in and make catches like Peyton had with Emmanuel Sanders. You know, kind of whenever he needed something, he was there to make that catch.
Yeah.
And also, I gotta say, props to C.J. Anderson. He looked more like he looked at the end of last year in that game against a very good defense. I mean, Carolina's D, they also played well, but I mean, C.J. Anderson kept chugging along, 23 carries for 90 yards in the TD. I mean, Denver, they did just enough to win. Like we said, neither team offensively was great. No passing touchdowns for the game. Peyton, I mean, honestly, for the second time in his career, his defense actually won him a game, and it was the game that counted. So, I mean, it's nice to see him go out riding to the sunset with that ring, but not the best Super Bowl I've seen.
True. I agree with you on that. It wasn't the best, but it was surprising. I was really shocked by this Denver overall. Like, I did not think they were going to be able to hang like they did. But question for you guys. Based on what you saw out of the Panthers, what key pieces do you think they will need to have in order to make it back to the Super Bowl or to even win its championship next year?
For me, I think they don't really need to do much. I think they were just a stranger to the stage. A lot of those Denver players had been there before. Peyton Manning, just the ultimate game manager, had been there three times before. And, I think that it was just Carolina just gaining the experience. And I think nobody would be surprised if they get back to this position next year at all.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they have a lot to do. I mean, going back to what I was saying with the receiving core, let's not forget they were missing Kelvin Benjamin the whole year. And last year he was a beast, and I think he would have been that guy for Cam that could get open and make tough catches in tough spots. And some of those overthrows, he's athletic enough that he might have been able to get up and save him on a couple of those. But I think with him, hopefully they can develop Funchess into what they want him to be, so they can kind of have a little bit of they can hit you from each side and in the middle with Olsen. And then, just a couple smart moves in the draft, shore up, get some depth in areas. I mean, probably, maybe hire a different O-line coach to figure out some protections when you have a good O-line, good D-line coming, because, I don't know how many times they left Von Miller single covered, and he seemed to touch Cam every time. So that was an issue for me. So I don't know if that's just a coaching staff change that they need to make there, or do they need to I don't know. Like I said, that's just scheme for me. They didn't leave a back to chip Von Miller. They didn't give Michael Orr help. Just odd to me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and just kind of going off that point real fast. I do think Denver's D-line is just that good. I don't think we can overlook it. The schemes that they drew up worked. I mean, they didn't look like they were anything too complex throughout the game. It was basically just Von Miller beating people left and right. But I mean, I think that's more of a testament to Denver's D-line than it is saying that there's, gaping holes in that offensive line for Carolina.
For sure.
Just a huge shout out to that Denver team again, because after losing that Super Bowl to the Seahawks, they pointed out the weakness of our defense, and they went on there, added some great pieces, and that defense actually ended up playing a huge role in them winning the championship this year. So that was good on them to take advantage of those weaknesses.
Absolutely.
People at it again, man, with this whole Cam Newton thing. People were talking about the press conference he had about him just leaving early and all that. What do you guys think about that? Is he just putting on a front, or what? Is he actually still a good guy? What are you guys' thoughts?
I think this is just Cam Newton being frustrated. When things go your way for 15 of 16 regular season games and you're blowing people out throughout the playoffs and it's kind of a joyride to the end, it's tough to lose. It's really hard to lose. He was named MVP, and that was kind of like the first. Well, that was really obviously the biggest loss of the season. But I mean, Cam Newton still has a lot of growing to do. He's still fairly young in the league. Rumor was swirling around that there was a Denver defensive player being interviewed about 15 feet away from him.
Yeah.
And he was talking trash about Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I mean, how, that would upset you. But I do think Cam Newton showed a little bit of his character by just kind of walking out. Not the greatest move for him, but I do think a lot of people just understand he was very frustrated coming off the worst game of the year for him.
Yeah, I can agree with that. He's very young. I think, 26? I want to say. But yeah, he goes out there blowing out all those teams, and when you end up losing on a big stage like that, it can get to you. Now, with Peyton Manning, when they lost against Seattle, he kind of did like the same thing in a way. Didn't really shake anybody's hand or anything like that. Just kept a low profile and left. But people were not making a huge deal about that like they were with Cam Newton. So, obviously, once you put in all that hard work and effort throughout the season, and then you get to the big stage just to come out short and underperform in a lot of people's eyes, it could be very frustrating, for sure. But, just how the whole media kind of handled that thing, I think it was a little bit unfair for him, but I do believe he could have showed a little more class with that. But it's definitely frustrating. I definitely understand that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was a bad look. Nobody can say anything different. I mean, he got up and walked out on an interview. So, I mean, he has to be able to handle things better than that, being a face of a franchise and growing into the face of the league. He's going to have to learn how to deal with those things better. Going to what Tyler says, not even rumor, you can hear, if you turn the audio up, you can hear, I forget something Davis Jr. or something like that.
I think it's Chris Harris.
Chris Harris, Chris Harris Jr.
Yeah.
From Denver, you can hear him saying the stuff if you turn the audio up.
I hadn't done that, but I just hear what everybody else is saying right now. So.
Yeah, he was basically, right, basically in earshot of everybody. I mean, he was hyped up. He won the Super Bowl. I'm not blaming him, but basically just he wasn't even really talking trash. He was just saying the game plan was to make them throw, and if we get in his face, we bet he can't hit receivers. And truth hurts sometimes, and that got to Cam. But I mean, I think people are still going a little crazy with it because, I mean, this isn't even new for Cam. Last year, that was one of the issues people had with him, is how he acts after he loses. He's a habitual sore loser. Like, if he loses a game, he mopes, he pouts and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's just he has to figure out a different way. He has to be able to handle the press conferences. And I also blame a little bit on the NFL. Like, how do you put him right next to somebody from the other team doing it and being that? I'm just like, come on, like let's think better about this. But like I said, it still comes down to overall it's a bad look for Cam. He has to be able to handle that stuff better, and that's going to come with a little more growth and maturity. But there's definitely on the other side, people are just trying to find stuff to poke and prod him about. I mean, dude can do 100 good things, and they still point out the one bad thing. Like, I even got annoyed with people talking about he didn't go after that fumble at the end of the game, so he was scared to get hurt for next season or something like that. So Cam had to explain it. He was like, from how my leg was planted, if I would have dove there, I probably would have tore my knee up. So I hopped back and still went after the ball. And then he had to point out, like, how many quarterbacks have you seen throw an interception and stand still?
Yeah.
It's like, so let's not go after the dude like he doesn't want to win games. Like, he's in the biggest game of his life. He wanted to win.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just a quick quote bomb real quick. I guess he told the media. He says, "I've been on the record saying that I'm a sore loser. Who likes to lose? You show me a good loser, and I'm going to show you a loser. It's not a popularity contest. I'm here to win football games." So he's honest with himself. But yeah, I think he, even with all that frustration, I think with him being, if not the face of the NFL, the soon-to-be face, he's definitely going to have to handle those situations a little bit better. So.
Yeah, and also, I read that statement earlier, too. I was like, you're making it worse on yourself, dude. You're making it worse on yourself.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, I just wish you would have said, look, I was frustrated. I shouldn't have handled it that way.
Yeah. Just own up to it.
Let's move on. But, I mean, he had to go and try and, like, we know you're a sore loser, but, like, to have to go do that, you show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser. I was like, oh, Cam, come on.
Yeah, not his best comment, but I mean, he felt like he had to say it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, it's not a wrong statement. It's just
it's not.
Wrong time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, you guys believe that he's the face of the NFL right now, or?
Yeah, I think it's hard to kind of pick somebody else that's the face. I mean, if Tom Brady and the Patriots didn't go through all that, Spygate, Deflategate, it would probably be Tom Brady, but nobody wants to put him as the poster child of the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of someone who's really rising in popularity and someone who's really starting to become an elite player, it's definitely Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I won't give it to him totally yet. Like, I think the NFL is still like in that place of passing the torch. But I mean, like, you still got like Peyton, even though this is his last year. I mean, he's still all over the place. Aaron Rodgers is all over the place.
Hey, didn't say it was his last year yet, man.
Okay, well, shit. Anyway, but I think like the new breed, like between Cam and Russ Wilson, like, I think they're transitioning into being those faces.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys? What are your thoughts on the Hall of Fame selections?
Yeah, in terms of Hall of Fame selections, I really like a couple of the people that got in this time. Brett Favre, I believe he deserves it. Had a really good career. Won a Super Bowl. It's hard to argue with some of the stuff that he's done. As well as Tony Dungy. I really like the fact he got in. I like him as an analyst a lot. Like watching him before Sunday Night Football comes on every week and hearing what he has to say about the games throughout the day and the game that night. But what he did with those Colts teams was good. He was a very consistent coach. And I also think he represents what the Hall of Fame represents, character, integrity, just respect. And I feel like all of those characteristics really define who Tony Dungy is. I think anybody that's heard him speak, anybody that's heard him, give an interview would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Based on numbers, I mean, I think everybody that's in deserves to be in, but I mean, the elephant in the room, there's one person that had numbers better than another person that's not there. And I mean, T.O. should have been in over. If you want to put Harrison in still, he should have been over Pace or Green. Then whatever, but
yeah, I agree.
So I'm fine with the class, but there's one person missing.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with the whole Terrell Owens issue. I just think like with his whole attitude, I think a lot of people don't really like him as a football player. Well, as a person, I should say, just based on his attitude. So I think his attitude played over in his NFL career played a huge role in him not making it. But I definitely agree that he should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Have either of y'all seen any of the background story or news reports about Marvin Harrison?
No.
Yeah, he's pretty much far worse than anything T.O. has done on the field. Gun charges, gang relation.
Okay.
So if he's in, another reason there's no way T.O. should.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
For the listeners.
It's not T.O.'s numbers keeping him out.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you want to bring in even just him as a person, he still probably if you. I know it's putting somebody's business out in the street there, but do a little Google search on Marvin Harrison.
Messengers, man, we got to tell it how it is,
And your opinion could change there. I know he was a quiet dude on the field, so people don't know, but
I don't think the media as a whole has been like covering stuff on Marvin Harrison like they have with Terrell Owens though.
Oh no.
So
And I think some of that has to do with the voice that Terrell Owens brings out. He's not scared to get in front of a camera. He's
very
not scared.
Confident.
Yeah, he's not scared to say what's on his mind. So I think a lot of that kind of has to do with how the media perceives Terrell Owens and then how they perceive other players.
Yeah, definitely. Anything you guys got left to say on this?
No,
I guess just congratulations to everyone who made it in. It's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, true. Next, we're about to get into the NBA. Huge thing that's been going on this week, suspension-wise, was Blake Griffin with this whole punching a member of the Clippers staff incident. Did you guys think the suspension was fair and just, or what? Like, what were your thoughts on the suspension?
Yeah, definitely an odd situation. He punched a worker for the Clippers and broke his hand, and I don't know. It seems really really like an odd suspension to me. I heard somebody say, and I forgot who it was. You have to put players as healthy or not healthy. They're in the game or they're out. So they're saying, why don't you just say that he's healthy enough to go 4 games before he's actually ready to go, and then he's playing by the time he's ready to go and already served that suspension. So, I mean, it kind of seems like a really odd situation all the way around.
Yeah, I always thought about that. Like, when they suspend a guy that's injured, like, couldn't you just kind of, like, bribe the doctor or something to say, oh, well, hey, I'm healthy. And just, I mean, either way, you're going to lose money. But, that's... that's what I was thinking about too. That's a very good point.
I completely agree. But I don't know. I mean, I do believe a suspension was in place there, so I'm happy that something kind of was given to him for doing that.
You think 4 games was?
I mean, if it's more than 4, you're starting to question why a lot of other people even get suspended in the first place. It's like Jahlil Okafor gets a 1-game suspension for beating some dude up outside of a club
twice.
Yeah, and it's like, so it's really hard to tell. I think to a point it's kind of the Clippers trying to hold Blake Griffin to a higher standard. But, I mean, I agree that a suspension should have been in place. As far as 4 games, I don't know. I don't know what all goes into saying this guy should be suspended for this long. Yeah. I don't know the talks that go into all that.
Yeah. How did you feel about it, Darnell?
I mean, I'm fine with. I mean, the time frame really means nothing to me since he broke his hand like an idiot and he's going to be out for 4 weeks. So, I mean, he's hurting the team enough there. Like, I think the main thing was hurting his pocket a little bit. It's 4 games without pay, so it's 4 game checks to take from him. So I'm fine with that. I think just him being out with the broken hand is the suspension enough, and enough for his team to be ashamed of him for doing something ridiculous, punching a dude that's a foot shorter and probably 100 pounds less than him in the face. So it's like, come on.
Yeah. Now, did you guys know
players like that?
Yeah, did you guys know what he said or anything like that? Was there any reports on that? Because all I've heard was he just punched a guy over like a dispute or something. He said I don't know exactly what he said or anything like that.
Well, no, apparently they're supposed to be boys. Like this dude hangs out with the players and his friend. Like everybody loves him, but apparently they went out to dinner. I mean, my best guess is probably drinks were flowing and he said something sideways to Blake, and he just said the wrong thing at the wrong time, and Blake was ready to fight.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't really know if the full story will ever really come out, just because, and like, Darnell said, when you're boys, a lot of that stuff just kind of gets pushed to the side later on and you're cool again. So it's probably not as big of a deal as we may think it is, but I mean, punching somebody in the face is still kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Now, who was more of a fool, Blake or Stoudemire when he smashed his hand that one time in the was it the playoffs?
Yeah. Both of them. Yeah. Both of them. I mean, let's be real. Why would you do something that stupid to take yourself out?
Charged up.
There's no point. There is. You're hurting your team.
Yeah. Your hand is part of your livelihood when you play basketball. Why throw it at something?
Yeah, that's true.
Face or chair or table, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Now, another thing, I was pretty shocked about this, but Derek Fisher, he got fired from it. I loved Matt Barnes' little picture after that happened. But what were you guys' thoughts on that? I was very shocked by that.
Yeah, just I don't know. I thought Derek Fisher, not necessarily the greatest hire for the Knicks when he was hired he was traded over, or whatever that whole situation was involving him and Jason Kidd. But I think he's a beneficiary of playing for Phil Jackson. He kind of had that rapport with him and was on really good standing. But I think they just kind of saw the time. They were losers of 9 of 10 at the time he was fired. So the Knicks weren't really doing anything promising. I think a lot of people would agree Carmelo Anthony's been nothing but a disappointment since he showed up there. They had a couple decent years, but they never made any real noise in the playoffs. I think Derek Fisher has very high basketball IQ and he knows what he's doing. Just a lot of times it takes coaches a couple stops before they find somewhere where they're successful.
Yeah. I was just shocked by it. I still think the Knicks still need some good amount of pieces to help that team really be successful, especially at the point guard position. They have Carmelo, they have Porzingis, but is it Calderon that's starting for him?
I don't know if it's
been.
But yeah, just the whole point guard is NBA is a point guard league pretty much, man. I mean, you look at the key teams, man, point guards are helping them be successful. And that New York Knicks team without a decent point guard, I don't really see them doing anything.
And not just that. I mean, they don't have any depth.
Yeah, that's bad too.
They when you get to their second unit, they're pretty weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see this coming down to just being, I don't know, I think this was Phil trying to be smarter in the room, thinking he could coach by proxy if he picked up a veteran that had been with him for a long time, and just it was too much too soon for Derek Fisher. He was not ready to go from retiring as a point guard to being a coach. He was never that type of player, and he was a good leader.
Yeah.
But was never that type that you knew like, oh yeah, he's smart enough to make like a whole bunch of people better by giving his knowledge off. Like he's somebody that needs to be sitting behind a veteran head coach for a while, learn his craft, and then get a shot. I think this was just Phil wanting somebody he could force to run the triangle and run the team how he wants it, run during a game, but it just wasn't working out. And I think Phil Jackson needs to just kind of realize that if he's not going to actually coach, if he's not healthy enough to coach, he needs to hire a good coach and let them be. Yeah, I think it's just he took over a team and wants to have his hands in everything still, just because he rightfully so he feels he's the best coach ever. So if he just tells somebody what to do on the bench, that it can probably get done and they'll win games, but it doesn't work like that. If he's not on the bench every day, it's not going to work out, and this team's not built to run that offense anyway.
Yeah,
there's no Kobe or Jordan on this team.
Yeah, they got Carmelo though, man.
No disrespect to Carmelo, but he's not one of those two.
Yeah, well, and definitely. I mean, and also Robin Lopez isn't necessarily the big guy that you need for a triangle either. He doesn't have the offensive ability. Porzingis spreads the floor. I just don't think that team, like you said, Darnell, is really built for the triangle at all.
Yeah, and a lot of people when they got Porzingis, like people were very upset about it. Like there's still kind of a shock how well they've been playing this year, considering like how people were ticked off about Porzingis joining the team. So they improved on last year for sure, but I was just with how that team was going, they still needed pieces. I was still very shocked by that. Do you guys like have a coach in mind who you think would be good for the head coach position for the Knicks, or what do you think?
I think a good person for it would be Thibodeau, since he used to be an assistant there under Jeff Van Gundy, so he knows the area and he's a proven coach. But I don't think Phil Jackson's going to look that way, so I think it's probably going to be like Brian Shaw, and he's probably going to try to go after Luke Walton.
Yeah, I think Luke, after this year, I think Luke's going to be a head coach of a team after this year. So, also, man, Phil Jackson, if you're hearing this, man, give my boy Dennis Rodman a chance, man. You said he wanted to be. Could you see Rodman as a coach?
No.
I'm not even going to comment on that.
That would be legendary, man. But yeah, give my man Dennis Rodman a chance, man. No, I would.
Two of the bigger names, though, that will be floating around this summer if they're not given a job sooner is going to be Mark Jackson and Tom Thibodeau. I think they'll always be swirling around, but a little bit more.
Could you picture Jeff ever deciding to go back to New York, or?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, yeah. It'd be tough. It'd be tough to see that, but
I know he hasn't been coaching in a while. I think he's probably just too comfortable with the whole announcement.
I just feel like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, he's got a good gig. He's got a good gig where he's at.
Yeah,
but and then like you guys said, Luke Walton as well. I think those are going to be three of the biggest names this off season for sure. If someone doesn't try to get the two that currently aren't coaching away from where they're at ESPN. So.
Yeah.
I mean, but those three names will definitely be three names that will strongly be considered, I believe, in New York for sure.
Yeah. Anything else, guys, on this?
No. Nope, just Knicks are horrible.
All right.
Yeah, they need more help than a coach. So.
Yeah. Next week, the trade deadline is coming up. I think that's the 18th. Who are some guys that you guys can see moving to a different team by the end of next week?
Darnell, why don't you throw a few names out there to start us off here?
I don't know of any huge names that'll probably be thrown out, but I mean, it looks like Atlanta is looking to fire sale with Teague, was Kyle Korver, and Horford will all be. They'll be taking offers from the Pistons. I'm pretty sure Jennings will be out of there.
Yeah, he's a hot name right now.
And maybe a big or two from somewhere just to try to get one of these just under elite level teams over the hump.
Yeah. I don't throw in. He hasn't really been doing nothing this year. It's been a huge letdown, actually. But Ty Lawson, he's. I don't know who would want him, but I could see like maybe the Rockets like trying to get like some type of pick or something for him because he's really been underperforming this whole entire year.
One
Marquise
team
Morris too.
Yeah,
throw him in there. But what were you about to say, Ty?
Yeah, just because Ty Lawson's a point guard, a team that could be looking for a point guard right here is going to be the Pelicans. I mean, they just lost Tyreek Evans for the season. So I mean, I believe they have Drew Holiday, don't they? And
I believe so, yeah.
So I mean, they're going to want somebody pretty solid maybe to back him up because Evans could play point guard when Holiday's not on the floor.
Yeah, I was hearing they were thinking about getting rid of either Tyreek or Eric Gordon for the Pelicans. So that would be interesting to see.
Eric Gordon,
two people that aren't playing.
Coming.
Yeah, like that's what I was hearing. I saw that.
But Eric they're saying Eric Gordon's really close. He's really close to being back, so he could be very appealing. They're saying the timetable for him looks like maybe a week or two after games resume from the All-Star break. So he could be appealing.
Like 3 days for him to audition for a team?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I wouldn't trade for somebody coming off an injury unless I know that they're going to be worth it.
Yeah. One name I'm seeing floating around right now is Omri Caspi, currently playing with the Kings. There's talk that Miami is very interested in him. He's shooting about the mid 40% from the field, and they're looking to add another shooter to their roster. Like Darnell said, not a huge move, but sometimes those small pieces add up and can really make a difference for a team down the stretch.
Yeah, I did see. I mean, it's unlikely to happen, but also the Heat might be offering up Whiteside for if they can make a big splash with him.
Man, I like Whiteside. I think they should definitely.
Yeah, he's a
keep
stud.
Him.
He's a stud.
With that team, though, man, they should. I mean, Wade. You got Dragic.
Yeah, I like Dragic a lot.
You have Bosh, Whiteside,
Winslow.
Yeah, Winslow. I mean, they got some pieces. They just need to get it together.
I agree.
Well, yeah, I guess they want another consistent scorer to help Wade and Bosh out.
Yeah.
Like it was rumored that they might try to talk to the Knicks to see if they could get Melo.
Yeah.
Wow. How's Luol Deng been playing this year?
And nothing to sing home about.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they want more punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the thing Caspi would give him is consistency. He's not going to go out and put up 20 points a night, but he can go out and give you a solid 10 to 14
nice little role player
night.
or something.
Give you give you some good bench minutes. You can play it in the upper 20s for minutes. He started quite a few games this year for Sacramento, so he could even get into the 30s if you need him for minutes. Yeah. But I believe he would be a solid acquisition for them. Just someone that can come in off the bench, give you 12 points, give you about 5 rebounds. I think he'd be a pretty solid add for that team coming off the bench. Any team can use depth coming down the stretch if they're looking at the playoffs.
Yeah, I've also heard David Lee from Boston Celtics.
Yeah,
and Kevin Martin from the Minnesota Timberwolves. I guess they are really trying to develop Levine, so that could be an opportunity for them to get rid of Kevin Martin, and I don't know who they would want for him, but help develop Levine and get it going for them. So it'll be interesting to see how that'll go next week, because I think the deadline's on the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's always on Thursdays, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so it should be the 18th. Yeah. You guys got anything else you want to add for the deadline?
No. Just it'll be really interesting to see if some of these teams, like maybe like an Oklahoma City, try to make a move for somebody. I mean, I don't know who they'd go for. They're not really in any rumor talks, but a team in the West that can really compete just to try and keep up with the Warriors, try to get someone for a late push here. But I don't really know if any of those teams are going to be willing to deal. But it'll just be interesting to see if someone tries to make a move to compete with Golden State in the West.
The Lakers gonna sign Durant, man. So
keep hope alive,
and they're gonna get Russell Westbrook the year after, man. Just watch.
Keep hope alive.
All right, man. We got All-Star Week coming up. Starts the 12th, I believe. That would be the 12th.
Yeah.
That's like the celebrity game now. The Rising Stars Challenge. That's Friday night as well. Like, Darnell, can you go over the rosters on the teams if you
for
can?
The Rising Star?
Yeah.
Let me get to it here. All right, for Team USA, we got Jordan Clarkson of the Lakers, Rodney Hood of the Jazz, Zach LaVine of the Wolves, Nerlens Noel and Jahlil Okafor from the 76ers, Jabari Parker from the Bucks, Elfrid Payton from the Magic, D'Angelo Russell from the Lakers, Marcus Smart from the Celtics, and Karl Anthony Towns from the Wolves. For the World Team, if I screw up some of these names, don't kill the messenger. Bojan Bogdanovic, Clint Capella of the Nets and Rockets, Mario Hezonja from the Magic, Nikolai Jokic from the Nuggets, Trey Lyles from the Jazz, Emmanuel Mudiay from the Nuggets, Raul Neto from the Jazz, Porzingis from the Knicks, Dwight Powell from the Mavs, and Wiggins from the Wolves.
All right, based on that, who would you guys have winning?
I'm gonna go with the USA team. I think they got some real ballers on that team. A couple of guys that still haven't exactly come into their own just yet in the league. More specifically, D'Angelo Russell. But I think in the second half of the season, you're really going to see the Lakers try to focus and really try and work with him. But I really like Karl Anthony Towns. Drafted him on my fantasy team, so big shout out to him for getting some good time up there with the T-Wolves. But yeah, I just think that they'll have a well-rounded team. I think some of those guys from the World Team aren't necessarily up to the same caliber that some of those USA guys are. Yeah. But more specifically, Mario Hezonja. He was really hyped coming out of that draft. A lot of people said he could be possibly the most explosive player coming out of that class, and we haven't really seen a whole lot out of him. His name isn't really mentioned much down in Orlando, but I just think that some of those USA young rising players are a little more developed, especially early in their career.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm rolling with Team USA on this too. I just feel like showing pride. Yep. I just feel like the USA team's just going to be a little too big, strong, and rough and tumble for them. Yeah. I mean, I know the European players have been forever trying to wipe the soft tag, but I'm not trying to call them soft. I just think it's a lot of tough, strong players, even at like guard positions on Team USA, like D'Angelo Russell, hard-nosed player, Marcus Smart, very hard-nosed player, and then just the two bangers they'll have with Okafor and Towns and Noel cleaning the boards and stuff. I don't think the World Team will have enough firepower as long as Team USA can play together.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with US A team too. I think they should win this. Got my man, call him the Wolf of Wall Street, but Karl Anthony Towns, Jahlil Okafor, all those guys can get dirty and clean up the boards. The only way how I see the World Team winning, because Wiggins, he's from the 6. So he's going to be playing in front of Drake and in front of his crowd. So they might actually have a little bit more ambition, to go out there and play just for him and see if he can get the MVP for tonight. That's the only way I can see it happening. But just talent-wise, based on the rosters, I would definitely have to go with the USA team. So I would go with them too. All right, we got the skills competition up next. One thing that's interesting about this this year is that they actually have bigs playing in this. So I don't know if they're going to be having the same like course as they always do, or they're going to change it up for the bigs too, or what. But it's going to be really interesting to see how that's going to play off. So
I agree.
Yeah, can you read those off too, Darnell?
Yep. We got Patrick Beverly repping the Rockets, Jordan Clarkson repping the Lakers, DeMarcus Cousins for the Kings, Anthony Davis, Pelicans, Draymond Green for the Warriors, CJ McCollum for the Blazers, Isaiah Thomas for the Celtics, and Karl Anthony Towns for the Timberwolves.
All right, who you guys got out of that?
Well, like you said, I think it's going to be really hard to tell because when you got the big guys in the skills competition, you're thinking, what are they going to do to cater to them? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think we've really considered DeMarcus Cousins a good ball handler. So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what they cook up there.
Yes.
But, one person I think that really can do a lot with the basketball and is really a good passer, a good shooter, because they usually make a layup or a dunk or something. But then someone who also has some pretty good handles. I'll go with Isaiah Thomas from Boston on this one.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna assume, I could be wrong, but I think you're gonna have to go with Day Darnell. Is that who you're gonna pull with?
Well, what I'm looking at here, I'm assuming they have to be like splitting this by the guards and the bigs. So I'm gonna say on the guard side, I'm going with Isaiah Thomas as well. But the bigs, yes, I'm a rep Sparty. I'm going with Draymond.
All right.
Real quick,
okay.
Trey, before you go, I kind of think that might be something that they're gonna do is they'll split it up like that. So I'll go ahead and pick a big man as well, just in case.
Okay.
But in terms of a big man, I'll actually go with Anthony Davis. Played some point guard in high school. You see tapes of him at 6'9", 6'10", playing the point. So I'll go with Anthony Davis for the big guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Laker. Got to support my squad. I'm gonna go with Jordan Clarkson, and for the bigs, I'm gonna have to go Anthony Davis. Just because, when he was in high school, he did. Yeah, what you said, point guard, Tyler?
Yeah,
it was point guard, and then he just had that massive
grew like
growing
6 or 8 inches or something like that.
Yeah, so it turned to a center. So he knows how to play the point guard position. Hopefully he can put those handles and everything into use coming to the skills competition. So, it'd be interesting to go. Yeah, you did bring up an interesting point, Darnell. They could possibly be splitting that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think that'll be good TV too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just real quick, you have the 3-point competition. We're going to talk about that next, but, with Steph Curry and all those guys coming into the 3-point competition, some people have said that, they look forward to it more than the dunk contest. How do you guys feel about this?
This year, I'll say absolutely this year. The 3-point contest is stacked. If you just look at the names there real quick, I'll go ahead and read them off real fast.
Okay.
We got Steph Curry, Golden State. The Beard, James Harden, Houston Rockets. Splash Brother number 2, Klay Thompson, Golden State. Chris Middleton from Milwaukee. Kyle Lowry, the hometown kid in this one, from Toronto. JJ Redick, Los Angeles Clippers. Bosh from the Heat. And Devin Booker from the Suns. I think that field's just packed. And I don't know who isn't excited for the 3-point contest this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, just over the past probably 5 or 6 years, the 3-point competition has been more must-see TV just because you're getting actual all-stars in it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who was the last big name to win the dunk competition? Like Dwight Howard? Like
Blake Griffin.
Or Blake,
Blake Griffin,
one of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like, it's getting to where it's like, come on, man. Like, we got four dudes in the dunk contest. I mean, I've heard of them, of course. Like you got Drummond in there. I mean, repping hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Levine, Aaron Gordon, Will Barton. Like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't scream like, oh, let me get in front of the TV to watch this. I mean, back in the day, you had
Jordan
Wilkins, you had Jordan, you had Vince Carter,
Sean Kemp,
Kim.
Yeah.
Like you had actual all-stars in the dunk contest or just under all-star level players. But it's like now you got people riding pine for teams in the dunk contest, like players that dunked one time in an NBA game just because they know they got hopped in practice.
So you guys, like, you think the professionals, like the stars, should man up a little bit more and decide, hey, you know what, man, let's just go out here and just have fun regardless.
People have been waiting forever for LeBron into the dunk contest,
He's
and at this point, it's
now,
too late.
Man.
It's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Like, well, who's well, I'll ask it after when we get to the dunk contest. But we'll start with the 3-point. Yeah, who do you guys have winning?
Does anybody not have Steph Curry? First, let me just ask that. Or should we pick somebody besides Steph?
My heart knows it's Steph Curry, but I'm gonna pick somebody else.
Okay, I'm doing the same, but
right. I mean,
I think Steph can definitely win. I think he's the greatest shooter of all time. But I'm going with Kyle Lowry. He's playing in front of his crew. He's playing at home, so I think he wants to bring it home.
Don't blame me for that.
So I'll go with Lowry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll actually go with the young guy here. I'm gonna go with Devin Booker. I think
rookie.
I think the kid has a strong stroke, and I think if he can just get in an early rhythm, he'll be able to knock down quite a few.
All right, and I'm torn between two that go beyond Steph. I'm thinking either Splash Brother 2 or another player that I've grown up hating because he went to Duke, but JJ Redick.
Chris Bosh. Wow.
Yeah, he was in it last year too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of the odd one out. But it's cool. I mean, he could get in there and really make some damage. He can shoot.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he can. I'm just saying he's just kind of the odd one out in this group.
Shooting 36%, I believe.
I mean, that's kind of become part of his game now. He spots up. He spreads the floor now.
Yeah, that's okay. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, Steph, I think he should win this. But I'll go with Kyle just because he's in front of his crew. So he's at home. So I think he wants to put up a show for him. So I'll go with Kyle. Any other thoughts on the 3-point?
No, I think no.
All right. Up next, we got the dunk contest. You guys were talking before we get into the actual people who are competing in it. You guys are talking about you wish you had, like the bigger stars to step up and say, hey, you know what? Let's just go out there, have fun, compete, and just put it all out there on the court. Who are some names that you wish you would have seen say, hey, you know what? I want to be in the dunk contest. Like, name some guys for me.
5 years ago, LeBron. I don't really know that there's somebody out there that I'm looking at saying, man, I really wish you were in the dunk contest. Mainly because, I don't know, as fun as the dunk contest can be, I just don't know how new they can make it. I think to a point the event itself is kind of old. Because it's one of those things where it's like if you're in the NBA, it's assumed you can dunk. And it's almost like anybody can go out there and do those. Yeah. But I
got to give Zach Levine credit. Like, he did some
he was
incredible stuff
explosive last year. He was real explosive.
I think it'll be pretty hard for him to, deliver on a scale that he did last year. I think he would really have to work his tail off to do that. But I think he did an exceptional job last year. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, what these guys aren't doing or what these guys are doing isn't great, because, I mean, it is. And it is a skill. So, but I don't think there's anybody I'm looking at in the NBA right now saying you got to be in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same lines. I mean, there's a couple people that I would like to see like what they get in there and do. Like I would like to see Russell Westbrook.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he'd be fun.
Oh yeah, Westbrook for sure, man.
I would like to see get in
very
there.
Explosive.
I mean, if D Rose could still jump, I would like to see him in there.
Yeah.
But I think his knees are shot too. And then I still think LeBron could come and do something fun. Just he's still super athletic. It might not be as fun as it would have been 2-3 years ago, but
I would like to see Paul George too test out because he had that injury. He was very explosive too when he got the chance to. So with that injury, I could definitely affect his legs for sure. But I would like to see him in there too. But go ahead. Darnell.
Those are mine. I mean,
okay.
that would be my top 3 wish list. But I mean, I kind of agree with Tyler too. It's just kind of hard to see. I mean, even sometimes you see some of the same dunks you've seen, just with some different flair. Just some people's personalities bring more out of dunks.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But I mean, the last time we saw something new was like Vince Carter, or
Jason Richardson.
Yeah, those two, or just Dwight Howard doing ridiculous stuff like dunking on an 11-foot rim and whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's getting the props, like going back to Howard putting on capes and going in the phone booths and stuff like that. It's like that doesn't make the dunk better.
Or just throwing the ball through the
It's like, come on, that's not making it better. That's just you doing like. You put a costume on.
Hyping it up, man. That's what you got to do.
Go be a mascot. Go jump off a trampoline.
Yeah. No.
So,
go ahead, Ty.
Okay, I was just going to go ahead and read off the participants for us real quick. We got defending champ Zach LaVine from the T-Wolves. Got Aaron Gordon from the Magic, Will Barton from Denver, and then Andre Drummond repping the D. Trey, who do you got? We'll let you start us off.
I want to say I think LaVine's gonna get it, but Andre Drummond, he's one of my top 5 favorite players, one of my top 5 players in the NBA right now.
You actually like somebody in your state? That's weird.
Yeah, I know, right? But I'm a huge fan of Drummond, man. I just like how that guy crashes the boards. He plays great defense. But yeah, I just love his work. Plus, he plays my favorite just basketball position of all time. Love bigs, so center. I'm just gonna pull for him. My grandma, she's like, "What is he doing in there? He's not gonna do nothing." I'm like, "Come on, man, just give the guy a chance. Let's see what he's gonna do." So I think LaVine's gonna get it, but I'm gonna pull for Drummond. I don't really. You're right, Darnell. I don't really pull for the Detroit guys, but I'm gonna go roll with Drummond on this one, man. I think his size, he can make things happen with his size and athleticism. So I'm gonna pull with him.
I think it's probably LaVine's to repeat. I'm interested to see Drummond. But I mean, just for the most part, just if you're close to 7 feet, you don't look good in the dunk contest. It's something that's meant for people 6'7" and under. Because,
hey, Dwight did it, man.
Like I said, he did it by doing tricks and props and stuff like that. And just like with Blake Griffin, he won because he jumped over a car, or half of him. He jumped over the hood of a car, not even the small part.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, for the most part, dunk contest, if you need to be between 6'1" and 6'5", so you can see all the air under you while you're in the air doing all the crazy stuff. Because when you see somebody 7 feet do it, it's like, well, you have to get 3 inches off the air. So,
yeah, I'm actually going to take a different approach here. I think this is going to be a time for Will Barton to really make his name. Not a lot of people know who he is. He's still very, very much a silent player in the NBA. I don't think if you lined up 10 people, maybe 2 or 3 could tell you who Will Barton plays for.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a coming out party for him. Zach LaVine got his start here. I mean, this is how he made his name.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be an opportunity for Will Barton to kind of show what he's about and make a name for himself. So I'm going to go with Will Barton.
All right. Up next, we got the the All-Star game. You guys want to go over the rosters again real quick? One of you has.
Yeah, I got it right here. East starters, we got Kyle Lowry representing the home court in Toronto. D Wade for the Heat, Melo for the Knicks, Paul George for the Pacers, LeBron James for the Cavs. East reserves, we got Drummond, Powell, DeMar DeRozan, Paul Millsap, Chris Bosh, John Wall, and Isaiah Thomas. And Jimmy Butler was on the team, but was replaced by Powell. Yeah. Then the West starters, we got Steph Curry, Russ Westbrook, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard. The reserves for the West, we got Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, James Harden, Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, and LaMarcus Aldridge.
All right. Who do you guys have winning, and who do you think will get the MVP?
I like the West in this game. I think just by looking up and down their lineup, I think they have more playmakers, and I think they just have more studs. Personally, I mean, Draymond's a stud, Steph's a stud, Durant's a stud, Kawhi's a stud. I mean, even when you get into their bench, like Davis is a stud, Cousins is a stud. I mean, granted, the players on the East are studs too, but I think these big names in the West just have a little more backing to it.
Yeah.
So personally, I like the Western Conference, top to bottom. I just really like their team. But in terms of an MVP, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a heartfelt Kobe Bryant MVP. And I know Trey, and you'd be all about that, no matter what his numbers were. But in terms of a little bit more of a serious MVP, I'm gonna go with Russell Westbrook. I think he's
Didn't
really
he get
good.
it last year?
I can't remember who won it last year. I
want to say he got it last year.
But I think Russell Westbrook just knows how to play this game. I think Steph Curry is still going to try and shoot the lights out, but I don't know if he's really going to do it. But Westbrook being able to get to the rim, liking to get to the rim, he'll get some pretty big dunks off in the first half. And I think he'll be able to light it up in the end. So I'll go Russell Westbrook there.
All right. I'm gonna go with the West too. I just like I've always rooted for the West, even as a kid. Just watching my boy Kobe play throughout pretty much my whole basketball life. I always rooted for the West. I love Anthony Davis, Westbrook. I like all those guys. I really think they're going to come out there to play. MVP, you were talking about a coming out party. I think Kobe's going to have his retirement party in the NBA. I think he's going to play pretty good, but I think because it's fan voting, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I think the fans will give it to him if they win. If the East win, I think Lowry will end up getting it for Toronto. But just based on fan voting, and if the West win, I think a lot of people, how Kobe's been getting the reception he has, getting the most All-Star votes and everything like that, I think people will vote for him to get that MVP again. So I would say Kobe.
Well, it's going to be a trifecta here. I think the West is going to get it. I just think they have more firepower. I'll be rooting for the East since home teams in the East. Most of my favorite players have played in the East, so I would like to see them win, but I don't think they got enough. I think their starting lineup matches up okay with the West, but once you get into the bench, I don't think they'll have enough. So I think that'll be the difference in that. MVP, Tyler stole my first choice. It's gonna be Westbrook.
Yeah, just jump on that train.
Hey man, root for your boy.
No, I ain't gonna go there.
He's the greatest player ever, man. You got to root for Day, man.
Not the greatest player ever. Let's not try to act like I came
Don't
up
put
like
words in his mouth. Don't put words in his mouth.
Me and Tyler are the ones that bring numbers here. Mr. Host. not just blind love for people. But I'm gonna go out of the box and I'm gonna say Cousins.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow, yeah, Cousins. That'll be a good one.
I think he has one of the types of games he's been having lately where he gets about 15 boards and 20 points and takes it down.
Yeah, I could definitely see that because a lot of people haven't really. He's been putting up all-star numbers for quite a while now. He got in last year because of injuries, and like he's finally getting like his actually due respect this year. So I can definitely see that happening. That's a good pick.
Yeah, he's right now probably the best center in the NBA.
Yeah.
So
I can definitely agree with that. Is Davis center or power forward?
He can play both, but he's listed at power forward.
Okay, I was about to say you think better than Davis, but yeah, Cousins, yeah, he's been doing this thing. Basically covered everything, guys. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Nah, I just hope All-Star Weekend is fun. I mean, I do think they do. The NBA does the weekend the best of any of the four sports, so I'll look forward to it. I mean, I'll have my DVR set for everything. Hopefully, I have something that I want to save to see.
Yeah, hopefully, man. I think Ty got disconnected, so he can't really say anything. So, yeah, get this going up, man.
All right.
All right, peace.